New documents are showing a suspected drug dealer police were looking for the night officers shot Taylor made, quote, frequent trips to her home. Tonight, Gabregadis has that, plus new comments from the family's nationally known attorney.
In January, police believe the suspected drug dealer, Jamarcus Glover, was using Breonna Taylor's apartment to ship drugs to avoid detection. The search warrant states Glover and second suspect, Adrian Walker, used this vehicle to travel to and from a trap house on Elliott Avenue, more than 10 miles from Taylor's apartment on Springfield Drive. In one instance, detectives said Glover was seen picking up a package from Taylor's home and then taking it to another known drug house. He was charged the same morning Taylor was killed. In March, a judge signed a no-knock entry so police could enter the EMT's home for a narcotics investigation without having to identify themselves. But LMPD says detectives knocked several times and announced their presence. Taylor's attorneys, which include National Civil Rights Attorney Ben Crump, have 4 witnesses who plan to prove them wrong.
They did not identify themselves and that they were in plain clothes.
Kenny Walker right now, his case is so important too because he got charged with attempted murder of a police officer.
Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, allegedly shot one of the officers in self-defense. Though he was arrested and charged, records show a judge released him on home incarceration. Wednesday, Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher said the Commonwealth's attorney would be recusing himself in Taylor's case because he's prosecuting Kenneth Walker.
Our expectations and hope and intentions with this case are to shed light on what is a very corrupt police department that has been able, through self-policing and investigating itself, to get away with these kinds of things too often in the past.
LMPD won't comment on pending litigation.
Today, Louisville's mayor signed Breonna's law after the Metro Council unanimously banned the use of no-knock warrants, a controversial practice that gives police authority to enter a home without announcing themselves. In March, Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, were asleep in her apartment when 3 police officers arrived with a narcotics search warrant. Lawyers for Taylor's family say the couple was startled when the officers in plain clothes entered the home. Police say the officers did announce themselves, but Taylor's family disputes that. Walker says he thought it was a home invasion and opened fire with his licensed handgun, injuring an officer. The 3 officers returned fire, killing Taylor.
Somebody kicked in the door and shot my girlfriend.
Breonna was not involved in any drug activity, so they had no reason to be at her apartment that night.
A newly released police incident report is mostly blank. It says there was no forced entry, and under injuries it says none, even though Taylor was shot 8 times. Republican Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is now introducing federal legislation to ban no-knock warrants nationwide.
In the case of Breonna Taylor, they had a warrant for that house, but they didn't accuse her or the boyfriend of being drug dealers.
It's estimated they're used 20,000 times each year.
They typically tend to be deployed in situations like drug raids where that element of surprise is really necessary and you're really concerned about the possibility of the destruction of evidence.
Taylor was an EMT. She saved lives for a living. Her family hopes that her death will save more.
It's amazing that people are listening, people are saying her name and learning who she was.